All right, number 2, it says create the close. Does anybody know why would you design your presentation starting with the ending first? Why would you do that first? Anybody got any ideas?
Because then you know where you want to go to.
Yes. How many have read Stephen Covey? 7 Habits? Anybody remember the habit?
With the end in mind.
Begin with the end in mind. You got to know where you want to end up before you can figure out how you start. So figure out your ending. Design your ending first. Couple of tips. So why do this first? Because you want to begin with the end in mind. And the last thing you say is usually the first thing that people remember. The last thing you say at the end of your presentation is usually what they're talking about on the way out the door. Okay? Because most of us don't remember a lot. You know, we'll take the notes and stuff and we'll look at it later, but as we're walking out the door, it's like, oh man, that last story just really got me. And it moved me and inspired me. Okay? A couple of tips. When you're getting near the end, you might say something like, so in conclusion, how many of you ever heard a speaker do something like that? And then they went on for what? Another 20 minutes. No. If you say something like that, so let me summarize my talk and bring it to a close. And then you summarize and bring it to a close. 1 or 2 minutes. But again, that's flagging your audience. Because what usually happens to people when they hear in conclusion? They sit up straight, they get the pen out to write the last thing down, they're all smiley, they're paying attention. So you kind of got them for that last couple of seconds there. So another way to say it, I want to thank you all for being here, and in closing, blah, blah, blah. So some way to flag that at the very end. And then move them to action. Ask them to do something. Visit my website. Buy my product. Give me your business card or your email. Fill out this form. Something. Capture their information so you can add them into your database. Again, by the way, I'm speaking mostly about a business presentation, obviously, but you could do this for any kind of presentation, even one-on-one. Talking to your kids. You want to be prepared. You want, well, where do I want this to end up? Okay, where am I going to start? What do I want to ask my kid to do at the end of this? Fits in that realm as well. Any other questions about creating the close? Again, I'm going real fast. A lot of little tips here and there. Hopefully you take lots of notes. And again, you're welcome to call me. Is my contact information should be on the front cover? Yeah. Phone and email. Yeah, just send me an email if you have a question after tonight. And I'll get back to you. I won't promise how fast I'll get back to you, but I will get back. Phone calls I return within 24 hours. It says that on my outgoing answering machine, and I do that. Emails when I get to them. All right, number 3, it says design the opening. Letter A, it says capture their attention. What are some other things that the opening might do besides just capturing their attention? What else? Set expectations for what's going to be covered. What else?
Selling yourself for the product.
Building some credibility. Selling myself. So hi, my name is Brad Warren. I'm a business coach and seminar leader. I go into big companies. I work with little people, small entrepreneurs. I could have said, I've been in business. This is actually my 31st year in business as a successfully self-employed entrepreneur. Started in 1978. September of this year actually is the beginning of the 31st year. So anything that builds your credibility. A couple of you did stuff like this. So I've been 20 years, the young lady in the back, something about 20 years in the corporate world. Little things like that. Again, be careful when you throw those out. They're powerful. They build credibility. Now, some of you were looking at me, and the interpretation I just made from your facial expression was, well, what if I haven't got 20 years in the corporate world? What if I don't have credibility? Well, then make it up. Build some. You've done something. You've done a project, a volunteer project of some kind. You've done some speaking somewhere. So build your credibility in the opening. Include that in there. Capture their attention. States the agenda, and it creates safety, hopefully. Now, I might have scared the bejesus out of a lot of you when I got very direct and sort of made that comment. And I told you, you're going to get honest. It might scared a few of you. And so I kind of did exactly the opposite. I created some, what's the opposite of safety? Unsafety? Non-safety? Fear. Oh, okay. Is that why you're looking at me like that? Okay. Okay, I won't call it.
Insecurity.
Some insecurity. So again, and you can learn as much from the mistakes that I make up here as from the good stuff. So that's probably not something to do with an audience that you're not familiar with. Certainly, I probably would not do that if I was at a paid speaking engagement being paid $1,000 and there were 100 people. I probably wouldn't start off by like slamming the audience. That's probably not a good idea. Okay? So I might have lost some credibility. Some of you are sitting there going, man, I'm not raising my hand now. You might call on me. So you got to be careful about that. So hopefully I can build back some of that credibility maybe now by presenting some really good information. It says use quotes, stories, questions. So that's the how many of you, and I started with a quote or a joke or what was an attempt at a joke. And again, make sure it's good. So you want to test it out, try it on some friends, rehearse, practice, videotape yourself. By the way, how many of you do videotape yourself before you go out and do a presentation? 1, 2, 3 out of 40-something people in the room, less than 10%. Very useful. I'm a little nervous because it's going up on YouTube, and it's like, oh, my mom's going to see this. But videotaping yourself is a foolproof way to get better because the camera does not lie. It's got every movement that I'm making with my hands. So now all of a sudden I just became very aware of that. I've got this in this hand, and this hand is like this, and I've been doing this. I used to do something with my jack and tie. I used to work for Fred Pryor seminars. Anybody ever take a Fred Pryor seminar? I used to be one of their trainers. And I videotaped myself once in LA and then watched it, and I had a big box of tissues nearby. You want to have a box of tissues ready because you're going to cry. You are going to cry. And I kept doing this thing I kept taking my coat and moving my tie, and I would kind of do this sort of funny thing like that. And then I would start talking, and then I would do this again. And I didn't realize how often I was doing it. It's like about every 10 or 15 minutes. Very distracting to the audience. I didn't even know I was doing it until I saw it on the video. So just a little aside, very powerful. Videotape yourself and then watch it. We recommend watching it once with the sound off and just watching your body movements. Then do it another time and just listen to the sound. So you listen to just your voice. And is it rising, falling? Are you using inflection? Are you speeding up? Are you slowing down? And then another time speed it up. And that exaggerates the body movement, so you really get to see what they look like. And then the fourth time, watch it just normal, just regular. And again, have that big box of tissues, because you're going to need it. All right, and no apologies in your opening. So start on time. So Patrick and I were up here, we were looking at the clock. Somebody, Deanna reminded us, and we got started. And, don't walk, oh, gee, I'm really sorry, I got stuck at the airport. No, just get up there. Hi. We're ready to get going. I got so much to share with you, and in fact, I got less time than I thought I was going to have, so let's go. And just go right into it. No apologies. All right, I believe the next page. Yes? Jump into the next page. Number 4, outline the body. And by that, I don't mean the body on the ground that's dead in your outline. I'm talking about the body of your presentation. Okay, so it says, A, brainstorm many points. In technology language, I guess it would be a data dump. Is that what it? Just you empty your brain. That's what brainstorming is, right? You just get it all out. What are all the things I could possibly talk about this subject? So this is you've got your topic. You know what you're going to talk about, but you want to sit down and just start dumping stuff out, writing it down. Every time you have a thought, when you think it, ink it, write it down. Have a file, throw articles in there. You can see, my presentation folder. I've got some more at home, but here's a couple from Guy from Entrepreneur Magazine. 11 public speaking pointers and rule of thumb. Your PowerPoint presentation should have 10 slides, last no more than 20 minutes, and contain no font smaller than 30 points. That's from a guy who knows. Again, it's his advice. Take it or leave it. But again, you start collecting information, keep it in a file, start dumping stuff out of your head, brainstorm as many points as you can.